Let's continue the hunt. So, how is everyone doing today? I have a slight headache doing this tonight, and, well, I guess that's what happens when you watch 3 episodes of shows back to back. Alright, let's take a look. So obviously we're gonna go for the water there, but what else do we have? I don't remember if Nidoqueen has any ground moves. But obviously we're gonna go that route. So first, I want to start by telling you guys 2 weird dreams I had recently. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, what even was the second one? Now I'm trying to remember the second one. I remember the first one. Oh, right, I remember. Okay, so the first dream I had a couple days ago. Let's see. Torkoal has drought, so I kind of don't want to activate water. But then I get no stab for anything else. Well, who cares? Alright, so the first dream I had was a couple days ago. Do you remember when you were younger? Maybe not for everyone. When you were younger, you would sleep in the same room as your parents. Maybe even sleep in your parents' arms. You would sleep beside your parents. And then as you grow older, maybe you get your own room. You just don't want to share the same bed with your parents anymore. Little side note, my dad wanted me to continue sleeping next to him until I was like, well past like 15 years old. You know, he just kept on being like, son, you want to sleep by me tonight? It's like, no thanks, Dad. I have my own room now. No thank you. Anyway, so in my dream, my cousin and I, not my female cousin, no, my male cousin. my male cousin, my little cousin, the 2 of us were sleeping in the arms of our grandfather. That was mad weird. Like, my cousin and I, the 2 of us sleeping in our grandpa's arms. And you know how old people have that strange smell to them? That old people smell? Yeah, even in my dream I could smell it. So, in my dream, my cousin and I, like, we were on a trip. In my dream, the whole family was on a trip, and for some reason, my cousin and I, we were both sleeping in our grandfather's arms. And, you know, it's like mad awkward. I'm an adult now, sleeping not only next to my grandfather, but in my grandfather's arms. So I tried to get up, tried to get away, but, you know, he just, like, kept tugging me back. And then in my dream, after the awkward night's sleep, I wake up, my grandpa's gone, so I walk outside, I see my uncle, my aunt, and my cousin looking down at, like, a sheet of paper, a picture of my grandfather, and just crying, going, Grandpa's gone. I'm just like, what the hell? I was sleeping in Grandpa's arms last night, and now you're telling me he's dead. And, well, that's majority of the dream. It was a strange dream. Not only me sleeping in my grandpa's arms, my cousin as well. Like, he had both of us in his arms as we were trying to sleep. Alright, next dream. This happened a couple nights ago. So in this dream, I was getting ready to go scuba diving with my dad. So we were getting ready to put on our one-piece wetsuits, but then we were told everything needs to go. All the hair on your body needs to be shaved off, even the down there hair. So to change into my wetsuit, I went to the pretty nasty bathroom. Man, why are bathrooms always so filthy? Like, you go to a public pool bathroom, nobody wants to go in there, they suck. So I go into this dark, damp, very dirty bathroom. I go into one of the stalls to try to change into my wetsuit. I come back out. I see my dad getting his head shaved. Like, alright, they weren't kidding. All the hair needs to go for some reason to put on the wetsuit. And then I remembered, oh right, I forgot to shave down there. When I was in the bathroom putting on my suit, I was supposed to get that done too, but I forgot. And then I tried to like hide it from the scuba instructor. Like, oh man, is anything bad gonna happen just because I didn't shave before going scuba diving? Oh, of course no one takes the water type. Stupid NPCs. And that's pretty much majority of the dream. However, in my dream, the place we were going scuba diving to was like kind of like a dark, deep ocean. Kind of creepy. It's not like you imagine the bright blue oceans filled with marine life. Nah, in my dream it was like almost like a tall kelp field. So anyways, let's see. You know something I thought about earlier today? Ah man, do I Dynamax? I'm gonna take a bold chance, and I'm not going to, because once we get to Heatran, I could save my Dynamax to get rid of Torko's drought. So, you want to know something I thought about earlier tonight? We still have yet, at least in modern day, we still have yet to get a proper Superman TV show. Now, hear me out. I know we had Superman and Lois and Smallville, but hear me out. In Superman and Lois, was Clark working at the Daily Planet? No. Did Clark have Jimmy Olsen by his side? No. In fact, when Superman and Lois picks up, we just brush past all of that. All of that has already happened. Clark is already a father. In Smallville, well, he was never Superman in the show. Everything that happened to Superman, or rather to Clark, was even before Superman. You know, General Zod, Darkseid, Brainiac, all of that stuff happened to Clark before he even became Superman. Okay, me not Dynamaxing did not pay off. And I'm talking live action live action show, not something like My Adventures with Superman. I mean, if I really wanted to, that's as accurate as we're gonna get. But I'm talking live action. Okay, the hell with this. I should have Dynamaxed to begin with. So, you know, I've been saying this for a long time. Think about how good these characters would be in a proper TV format instead of just film. We already have Superman as an example. We know Superman works on TV. But think about like Batman, Spider-Man, how great those characters would fit in the TV format. And I don't mean like the cheap CW budgets either. I'm talking like full-blown high-quality budgets. Because, you know, characters like Batman and Spider-Man, you only get one movie every handful of years. You get majority one villain, maybe 2 or 3 sometimes. But in a TV format, you could have an overarching villain throughout the season, and then you can have smaller villains, like D-list villains, for episodes, like a couple episode arc. Think, just think for a second. Animated shows, you know, Batman Brave and the Bold, Spectacular Spider-Man. Imagine that kind of style, but live action. And fully budgeted too. Wouldn't that be amazing? But no, studios and companies think that is not only too expensive, but also, you know, those are big characters that we should reserve for the big movies. I mean, just take a look at Godzilla. Literally, look at how amazing Monarch Legacy of Monsters is. Actually having CGI that even rival the quality of the movies in that show. Like, you could see a Godzilla show actually works. And Season 2 has Kong. I did see people online actually saying, there needs to be more monsters, more screen time with the monsters in the show. Like, can we please stop focusing on the human characters? Normally, I would agree. I mean, for God's sake, look at the 2014 Godzilla movie. Godzilla only had, like, not even 10 minutes of screen time in the whole film. But a TV show, come on, you gotta admit, the amount of screen time we had for the monsters in the TV show is actually pretty impressive, considering CGI is expensive. And you know, it's not like the Pokémon Detective Pikachu movie where they just reuse the same handful of assets. No, they have lots of CGI creatures in there. Sure, majority is Godzilla, so they just reuse Godzilla, but still, it's not just the monsters that need CGI. There's also backgrounds, there's also special effects. Oh my god. Well, I just lost this. What a great start to today. And you know what? Speaking of Monarch, we have that to discuss today. We have the next episode of Oshinoko Season 3. We have the first episode of Monarch Season 2. And we have another episode of Ted. Remember, we finished with Wonder Man last time. I'm gonna take this in hopes to get something better. Hopefully I find a ground type. Well, I see Nidoking. I don't remember if Nidoking... I think Nidoking does. I think Nidoking does have a ground move. Oh, I see lots of ground types here. I see Golurk. I see... Who was that? That... I think it's Quagsire. Quagsire has no ground moves, though. Ugh. I'm thinking, if I go this route, I can be strong against Talonflame, and then I can swap to Golurk. Let's see if I can one-shot Talonflame with a stab D-Max rock move. I'm feeling much better. My sore throat is all but gone, but my nose is still a little bit stuffy. Unbelievable. Ah. Didn't Celio have another water move you could have used? You guys want to hear how bullshit one of my assignments is? I have it pulled up here. Read the following questions and write down your answers. The instructions for posting your response are below. 5 marks. Do the following exercise for 5 houses. Do not use your own house. Drive to different areas to sample houses with various ages. First of all, what the hell? Do not use your own house. Use 5 different houses. Drive to other houses. And then listen to this. 1. Estimate how old the house is and state what clues you use to arrive at the age. 2. Locate and describe where the stacks are on the roof, e.g. northwest or west side over garage. 3. For each stack, describe the pipe material and approximate diameter. Use the pipe material match... does the pipe material match your expectations for the age of the house? If not, why? So I gotta do that for 5 houses, but here's the real kicker. It says here, for 2 houses, look under the kitchen sink and the laundry tub or a basin. Identify the materials and the pipe sizes of the tailpiece, trap arm, and vent if visible. Note any leaks, problems, or visible repairs. The freaking look under the kitchen sink and the laundry tub. It's like, do you know what this assignment is asking of me? Not only to drive around to 5 random houses, but also go into the houses, look under the sink, under the laundry tub. What? There ain't no way my professor actually believes students would do this. And there ain't no way he doesn't know that people are just gonna bullshit and lie through their teeth on this. Cause there ain't no way this assignment actually expects me to go to random houses, ring the doorbell, be like, "Hi, I'm a student, I'm doing an assignment. Can I come inside and look at your sink?" Just a random guy showing up claiming he's in school. I can... Here, let me open my laptop and show you. This is my school assignment right here. It literally says, choose 5 random houses, not my own, and I just happen to pick your house. May I come inside? Man, I don't know what would sound more weird, because obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to bullshit everything. But, like, I don't know what sounds worse. If I say, alright, I picked 5 random houses, or if I say, I went to 5 friends' houses. I asked 5 of my friends to let me do this assignment in their houses. I don't know what sounds worse. I don't even remember if Quagsire has water moves. Of course. Oh my god. Of course the one thing to not swap out swaps out. And it's a grass type. At least Swamperd's good against Quagsire, but chances of Quagsire being swapped in for Sceptile is not good. Well, I've already written it down on my doc, so I'm not taking no. Oh yeah, something I've been thinking about buying. Since yesterday I spent $600 on a Nintendo Switch 2. I'm thinking, do I want to spend more money today? Because, also, Happy Mario Day, everyone. Today is March 10th. Happy Mario Day. Oh. So, March 10th, Mario Games goes on sale. I'm thinking, do I buy a physical copy of Mario Odyssey? Because I made the mistake of buying it digitally back when it first came out, and I'm paying for it, literally. Because I knew one day I would need to buy a physical copy, just to, you know, just to have a physical copy. Because one day, the eShop will die. One day, my Nintendo Switch will stop functioning. So I'm thinking, do I buy it now since it's on sale for like $30 less? On top of the $600 I just spent, do I spend 10% of that again? But if I don't spend it now, I need to spend an additional $30 any other time. And you know what? I see on EB Games, if I buy the game, I also get like a Mario-themed bracelet. Or not really a bracelet, like a keychain kind of thing. Ugh. Oh, it's a wristlet. That's what it's called. Whoops. Oh yeah, something else I forgot to mention. I think I didn't mention this yet. A couple days ago, a friend of mine visited me at work. You got Mario Jamboree for March 10th? Nice. I thought you told me you don't really play your Switch anymore. I don't buy Mario Party games because, well, it's kind of sad playing it alone, and I don't have anyone to play it with. Wish it was less, but I've been thinking about picking it up for a while now, so it's better than full price. Yeah. At least you're not buying the same game twice. Because, oh no folks, Mario Odyssey is not the only game I made the mistake of buying digital. And this one hurts even more. I made the same mistake with Smash Ultimate. So those are the two games I know I need to buy a physical copy one day. Not everyone likes Ultimate or Kart. Well, those opinions are wrong. You do have to buy all the DLC again. Uh-huh. Man, that couldn't have knocked it out? Oh, do you have to buy the DLC again? That was a question. Oops. I assume so. I actually have no idea what happens if you have a digital game downloaded and then you stick in the cartridge of the same game. I don't know what happens. I should have tested that when my cousin came over, because he had Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Wait, that's not right. No, because I have it physical too. I don't know, he had something I should have tested it out with. Okay, well, let's get started with these shows. So as of right now, a new episode for Oshinoko has not come out yet, but probably by next time there will be. Remember how last time I was saying I have no idea how they're going to extend it to a 4th season? Never mind, this episode answered that. So last time, I mentioned that Aqua would more than likely head straight for his father and kill him. Straight there. But in this episode, we open up with Kana looking at the news, watching the news talk about Ai's children, and it turns out 1 week has passed, 2 weeks has passed, several weeks have passed, and there is no news story on Kana's scandal. Everyone is focusing on Ai's children as the main story. So several weeks has passed, why has Aqua not gone to his father and killed him? Well, it gets answered a little later. Do I even need to Dynamax? Damn near everything we have is strong against this thing. Ah, screw it. So we actually begin with Ruby confronting Aqua. Now, once again, it's that case of, like, strange timing, because if you're led to believe that several weeks have passed, why is Ruby only now questioning Aqua's choice? You know? It's kind of that moment in Chainsaw Man, you know. Makima had time to do all that when they couldn't even get Denji's body into the truck, into the van. So, like, I don't know. I'm led to believe that the sequence of events happens the way they are. Wait, the way they are presented, except for the ending. So, I guess several weeks later, then Ruby decides to confront Aqua about it. Like, pins him against the wall and shouts at him, too. Turns out, a lot of people are not happy with Aqua's choice. A lot of people straight up accuse him of basically digging up his mother's grave and pissing on it. But Aqua, he just claims that, well, Ruby, you told me to do this. You're the one who told me when I asked you, would you do something for the betterment of someone you cared for, even if it brought yourself pain? And you told me yes. And besides, this is a win-win for everyone. Because Ruby's just like, you don't care about Mom anymore. You don't care about Ai anymore. You changed. When you were younger, you would do anything for her. But now, it seems like you don't care about her anymore. But that's, of course we know that's not true. Everything is about her. Like, it's a win-win. Ai's gone. Ai's dead. So her secrets, they should at least benefit the living. And benefit the living it would. Kana doesn't get her reputation ruined, and all this publicity would only elevate the twins. Would only put more attention, more of the spotlight, onto Aqua and Ruby, thus propelling their popularity. While Ruby understands this, she's also furious at Aqua to the point she just disowns him as a brother. From this moment forward, she doesn't consider Aqua her brother anymore. Even Mayako is disappointed that Aqua would do something like this. So we see the aftermath of this. We see all the social media buzz, all the fans being like, hang tight there, twins. We got your back. Stay strong. We know times are tough now. We even see Ruby doing like a press conference, announcing that basically Ai's dream was to perform at the Tokyo Dome, but because she got killed before that, she wants to continue her mother's legacy and make her mother's dream come true, which is nice, which is a very, very heart-melting story for the press. We also see Kana. So Kana now knows the story, but unlike how smart Akane is, she doesn't realize why Aqua did this. Damn. If only she was as smart as Akane, she would have figured it all out. Like, if Kana actually sat down and thought about it, she would probably realize, oh, Aqua's mother, a very famous idol, was killed. He probably doesn't want that to happen to me. So, let's see. Kana goes back to the Strawberry Productions location, and Aqua just walks in too. This is the first time these two have actually shared a room in this season. I don't know, like, Aqua, he just walks in and sits down, almost as if he wants to ignore her. But, you know, the two of them are in the room for the first time together in, like, what, a year in the show? So, of course they start talking. I'm pretty sure if Kana didn't say something first, then Aqua would not have spoken to her. Pretty much asking Aqua, why did he do this? What was your intention? What was your goal? He's just like, he basically just said, my goals are beyond your understanding. He just said, you know, those don't concern you at the moment. But he basically just tells her, who cares what happens to me? As long as you and the rest of Bikomachi continue as an idol group, that's all that matters. We do get hints throughout the episode that Aqua is setting things in place for when he is quote-unquote gone, ensuring that his sister's idol group continues and that they'll be okay for it. They'll be okay without him. You know what that sounds like to me? Either his plans to kill his father, he plans to either be locked up for it or a murder-suicide. That's what it sounded like to me. Anyway, so Kana reveals to Aqua that she plans to quit being an idol sometime in the future. But not anytime soon. Until that happens, she plans to give her all to the rest of the group members. And she basically just tells Aqua, well, if you have a favorite idol, better start standing now. As in, like, well, start supporting her. Keep supporting her while he still can. And one of the few times in the show we see Aqua smile. Okay, cool. Anyways, so Aqua goes and visit the, what's his name again? Ichigo. Saito Ichigo, the guy who was Ai's manager. And yeah, he is very pissed. Again, this is like probably weeks, several weeks later. Aw, man, come on. And yeah, Ichigo basically yells at him for pretty much doing the same thing. Why would you do this? You disrespected your mother's legacy. You tarnished it. But Aqua's here for a reason. He came to mention that he knows exactly who was the mastermind behind Ai's death, but he cannot tell him. Why? Because he knows if he tells Ichigo, he'll go and murder him right away. And he backs this up by saying, you damn right I would. But no. And here's how we're actually going to get a Season 4, and probably the final season. Aqua reveals that he knows exactly how to torture his father, how to make him pay. Not just killing him, because that would be letting him off easy. No. Aqua has been thinking about this ever since he was a kid. Thinking about if he ever found the culprit that murdered Ai. found the true person behind his mother's death, how would he make it so that he will pay dearly? Well, we actually get a flashback to when Aqua was young and with Gotanda. It's been a while since we've seen from him. You know, the director that he spent a lot of time with, I think Season 1 or Season 2. Actually, I think it was Season 2. When he had the panic attack and he went to Gotanda. But remember, this is a flashback scene to when Aqua was still an infant. And hey, I returns. I returns in this episode, albeit it's in a flashback, so it's really tragic. You know, you're grateful to see her again, but you know it's a flashback, and you know what her fate ultimately is. Oh! Shiny Obstagoon, nice. First shiny of this. So in the flashback, we see, you know, it's adorable how Aqua, when he was a kid, is just sleeping on the lap of Gotanda. Ai comes over and pretty much asks Gotanda to make a documentary of B. Komachi. Or rather, they're planning to make a documentary on the idol group, and Ai wants Gotanda to be the director. And he just constantly goes like, no, no, I won't. Let me spell it out for you, girl. I refuse. I will not do your documentary. And then literally next scene, we see him doing the documentary. You know, it's kind of easy to forget that the original B. Komachi group was more than just Ai. There were 3 other members. I don't even know their names. Oh, hello there. So yeah, we see Gotanda. He's working on the documentary. But we also see the scene where Gotanda is about to get like an interview portion with Ai. And Gotanda, he claims that he doesn't want to make anything that isn't worth his time. Like, he wants everything to be authentic, everything to be legit. So no lying. But that's all of Ai's character. She's an idol. Everything she does is a lie. Her performance, her act, her face, everything's a lie. And she even claims herself that, well, if you were to film the real me, I doubt you would be able to use any of the footage. And for the first time ever, we see the real Ai. Because she asked Gotanda to actually record her real self. And we see the white stars in her eyes turn black. The real Ai. We as the viewer haven't even seen the real her. I mean, the most real version of her we saw was when she was raising her twins. But yeah, Gotanda feels guilty about what happened to Ai. He's thinking that he may have been one of the only adults that could have helped her, that could have stopped what happened. So, we see that Gotanda, he did record a lot of footage for B. Komachi for the documentary he was working on, but after what happened to Ai, the whole project got cancelled. But he still has a lot of footage. He also has something like a script being written. It's titled, like, The 15-Year Lie. And who do we see? Or rather, what do we see them do with it? We see Aqua and Gotanda together pitching this story as a movie. First of all, the guy, whatever his name is, hearing the pitch, he's just like, a movie based on real events on the murder of an idol 14 years ago? This would be really hard to do, because you have to tread carefully. Get any information wrong, and you risk being sued for defamation. Also, this subject hits really hard into some really dark subject matter, so no studio in the right mind would ever pick it up. And also, there's just too much speculation. There's too many gaps in the story. So, I can't pick up this film. But Aqua interjects, claiming he can fill those points. He is able to speak out for those, because not only is the director for the initial documentary able to fill in the gaps, but the son of the victim himself. Interesting. Anyway, so the guy actually does take this project under his own wing. Like, no other director can do this besides him. Or rather, no producer, I should say. I don't think he's a director. So then they start brainstorming. Who could they possibly cast in this film? And he literally lists out damn near every character we've seen in the show so far. He lists out Ruby Hoshino, Memcho, Kana Amira, Akane Kurokawa, Himekawa, remember him? Aqua's half-brother? And then he lists out, the green-haired girl with the snake eyes, I kind of forget her name. Like, he basically just lists out every character we've met in the show so far, or at least majority of all the characters that actually stick out. But then, alright, so we have a rough idea for a cast. Who's going to play Ai herself? In my mind, I was thinking Ruby. It's a no-brainer. She looks like her, she acts like her, she is her daughter. It's a no-brainer. Have Ruby play her. But no. No, this guy has a different idea. Because he has in mind someone to actually play the character of Ai. And I don't even remember what the character's name was. She was in this one scene. She had blue hair. Crap. I'm gonna look it up. What the hell was that character's name? Okay, this is her name. Yura Kadayose, or Kadayose. So we meet this new character, Yura. What are you going on about, just curious? I'm talking about an Oshinoko episode. What should I use? I guess I'll just use the stab move with the best accuracy. Oh, I don't really watch anime. Well, that's okay. Don't worry, I got other shows to talk about later. So yeah, we meet this new character, Yura Kadayose, and she's literally just in one scene. I hate to spoil it. So we see her, she reveals that she's 25 years old, she's at a private bar, drinking with a buddy of hers. You know, she was given this this film role, but she's just thinking, oh, people, they only want me for my talent, or not my talent, they want me for my reputation, my face. They don't want me for my talent, they don't want me for me. Her goal is to make it so big that she can start picking her own project. She can move past being offered these, and she can pick and choose what project she wants to be in, which, you know, is a pretty respectable goal for an actor. And, welp, I could not help but notice. It took me a second to realize this. The person she was drinking with, she said his name, which immediately I didn't buy, because I started to recognize him. I started looking at his character design, I'm thinking, wait a second. Wait. Blonde hair in a ponytail, and his eyes are closed. He didn't open his eyes at all. His eyes were closed as if he was Brock. I'm thinking, oh my god, it's him. It's him. In plain sight. He never opened his eyes to show us his eyes. His hair is tied back in a ponytail. It's him. He's sitting right next to her. He's acting all friendly. He's giving her advice. So, she's walking back to her home, I assume, after the drink. I really thought, as a plot twist, he was going to push her into coming traffic. But no. No. She reveals to her quote-unquote friend that, hey, I've been really into hiking on mountains lately. Look, I even have a phone app that tracks what kind of mountains I've hiked at, how much steps I've taken. But then this guy, he's just like, oh, you better be careful on those mountains. Something could happen to you, and because you're on a mountain, you would never be found. And then, yep, my suspicions were right. We actually cut back to the scene in Season 2. I'm pretty sure. I should have rewatched this. I think they reused the scene from Season 2, where we see the father for the first time. And yes, he did kill this girl. On the mountain where she will probably not be found for a long time, if ever. He killed the Uprunner, the top choice to play I in the movie that would expose him. I don't know if he had that knowledge of happening, or if he's just on a bloodlust. But he actually did it. We see him untie his hair. We see him open his eyes. We see pitch black stars in his eyes. And as the girl's, the light from her eyes fade out as she's dying, this lunatic just starts cackling. He loves what he just did. He just thinks to himself, another one. Another light has gone out. Hear that eye? Another one! Yo, this dude is absolutely deranged. We really are working with a full-blown serial killer here. Which now I'm thinking, I should have double-checked this. If this is the exact same scene from Season 2, wouldn't that mean the scene we saw in Season 2 hasn't happened yet? We were seeing a flash forward? It's absolutely crazy that we see he killed the person who was going to star in the film that was going to expose him. Because if you think about it, that would be how Aqua would get payback on his father. Put it on film. A film based on a real story about the death of an idol who is the creator's mother. Imagine this. Imagine during the movie, you expose the name of the person who got the person killed. And then anyone close to that person would realize, wait a second, your name was in that movie. Wait, weren't you associated with that person in your past? What better way? I've never thought about that. What better way to get payback? Not by killing the person, because that would be letting them off. Getting revenge on that person, knowing how to really make them suffer, solidifying it on film, exposing what he did to everyone out there. That's absolutely brilliant. I can't believe I never thought that. And that's probably what Season 4 is going to be about. Making that film and exposing him. And then you kill him. We actually don't see Akane in this episode. We don't really see any more Ruby or Kana in this episode. So the plot is thickening. Season 3 has been pretty huge. a lot of leap forwards with the plot has been made. Season 2, while I enjoyed it, I enjoyed the theater aspect, it did kind of waste some time. I mean, Ruby was pretty much sidelined the entirety of Season 2. Oh, speaking of Season 2, I can't help but notice that a certain character from Season 2, who appeared smack dab right at the end, still hasn't made an appearance yet. And she was in the opening credits for all of Season 2. She showed up once at the very end of Season 2, and she hasn't appeared yet at all afterwards. This character better have a damn good payoff if we saw her in the opening sequence every single time. If she showed up only once at the very end of Season 2 and never showed up again. I don't know, that's that kind of Walking Dead CDC what did Jenner tell Rick ending mystery. By the way, that assignment I mentioned earlier, that was due like 2 days ago. I'll do it tomorrow. I was gonna do it today, but then I got lazy. I don't know if this means Aqua and Akane are officially over. Like, they didn't have a full-blown breakup, but I don't know if they're actually over yet. Because Aqua, he's moving forward with his plan. He doesn't want Akane involved. And he did tell Akane that he will get out of her life forever. So Aqua may want nothing to do with her anymore, for her own sake. But Akane, we actually don't know where she's been. She wasn't in this episode. And weeks have gone by. Man, either option I had would have sucked. If I went for Magmar, then it would have been weak to the water type afterwards. But if I go for this, for Slowking, then it'll be weak to the ghost type that's coming up, because I ain't doing the grass route. You know something else I realized? We got Mega Frostlass to be a pair with Mega Glalie, but we did not get Mega Slowking alongside Mega Slowbro. Anyway, so let's move on. So up next we have Season 2, Episode 1 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It was a pretty strong start to Season 2. I felt like Season 1 had a stronger start. Also, before this season, I did watch the, what was it, the Rotten Tomatoes watch list, where the cast gets interviewed. And watching that, it was revealed that this season takes place in 10 days. No, not 10 days after Season 1. The season takes place in only 10 days. So that's basically like 1 day per episode. Each episode this season will only take place in a single day. The entirety of Season 2 will only be through the span of 10 days. And watching this episode, it takes place immediately after Season 1. Immediately. So both seasons happen pretty much back to back. At least through the perspective of, you know, Kate, Mei, Keiko. For characters like Kentaro, Hiroshi, and Tim, no, it's been 2 years. God damn it. Of course, Basculins get swapped out. And I also gotta say, too, now that Keiko is in present day, the actress Mari Yamamoto, she's doing double lifting. Because not only is she acting for the scenes that take place in the past, she's also acting for present day, too. So she now has double the workload. Okay, so the season begins literally right where we left off. We saw at the end of Season 1 that our characters are on Skull Island and Kong is right next to them. An alarm starts going off, everyone has to go into the research facility, and we finally see what happens in Season 2. Beginning of Season 2, they're evacuating because Kong is on the attack. Kong is just smashing up the research facility, and they're trying to escape with their lives as a literal skyscraper-sized ape is rampaging. That's literally the opening. Kong going on a rampage on the research facility. But why is that the case? Kong is usually friendly to humans. Anyway, so we get the Season 2 opening sequence, which is the exact same theme, the same music, but the visuals are different now. And ooh, I really like the Season 2 visuals. Season 1 visuals were all Godzilla focused. Season 2 focuses on Godzilla, Kong, and the main antagonist of this season, who we will meet at the end of this episode. So after the opening scene, we see Keiko is in a Monarch medical facility and she's getting examined. But she kind of panics. She runs out claiming, like, you know, where's her son? She runs out, literally runs out. She goes to an exit and realizes she's on a ginormous ship. And this ship is Monarch Outpost 18. A mobile outpost. And they are currently stationed right outside of Skull Island. Remember how in the movie Skull Island was shrouded by a giant storm cloud? Yeah, that's the same case here. But, you know, these characters aren't aware that decades prior, Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Sam L. Jackson, they were all here on this island. So yeah, Hiroshi goes after his mother, which is also kind of crazy to think. Hiroshi is like now 30 years older than his own mother. You just got shiny Tapu Lele. Nice, congrats. But yeah, it's really strange. Hiroshi is now like 30 years older than his own mother. Nature guess? Bold. So anyways, all our characters are locked inside of a little, like, meeting room on the ship. Verdugo comes in to basically tell them all to calm down. Let's go over what we know. We were on that island and Kong attacked for some reason. So, it's not just Kong. Something... I got it? Bold. Awesome. It's not just Kong. something has riled up the entire island. Every creature on the island is now in a frenzy. So going back onto that island would be a suicide mission. But Keiko, yeah, that's exactly what she wants to do. Go back onto the island, because she needs to go back down and get Lee. Remember, she had no choice but to leave Lee behind in Hollow Earth. And she's just saying, Lee would have never done that to anyone. Any of them. He would have never left them behind. So they gotta go back. But they're denied the ability to go back. At least for now. And of course, this being the show that it is, there's an A plot and a B plot. So we do have flashbacks to the 50s. Because remember, in Season 1 we had a lot of flashbacks, but we just kept on jumping in time. There's a lot of time that was never explored. So, in this flashback, we go back to 1957, where our characters are going to Santa Soledad. I actually have no idea where that is. They're going there on boat, and by now, Keiko and Bill are already married. So, poor Lee, you know, poor guy, has to watch as the woman he loves married his best friend right in front of him. But hey, Lee never lost his mind like Shane did. I don't mind doing Heatran with you. Alright. Oh, for a second I thought you meant the nature. Okay, no shiny. Sure, if you wanna join, hop on. Whoops, that's not right. So yeah, it is now 1957, so we know that this is 2 years before Keiko disappeared. It's another one I have wrote. Do you want to join mine, or do you want me to join you? I guess it doesn't really matter. Wait, that's not right. Here, use this code. Let me know when you're ready. So, in 1957, they went to Santa Soledad to investigate a supposed monster there. Ready? Alright. Heatran is easy enough, so I trust you know what to do. I trust you know what to do. Like, you don't need me to give you every single instruction. I'm just gonna let you do your own thing. Mainly ground, water, if no other options. Damn, this thing doesn't have ground. Hey look, 2 metal sounds. It's better than nothing. Actually, well, both were weak to fire anyways. Yeah, fighting, but it's not as good as the other 2. Then again, it would do like the same damage as water. Alright, let us see. I am keeping the ant 4 times weak to fire. Alright, so let's see. Sharpedo, Dreadnought, and fighting. Okay, we have a good path. So they arrive to this village that almost looks like Pompeii, and they are immediately not welcome there. A lot of the locals there just give them all the side eye. They go into a bar, and Bill, he just walks in, not reading the room. He notices some sort of like sea creature hanging on the ceiling as decoration. You know how some places would have like a dead pufferfish as a decoration? Well, this thing kind of looks like almost like a prehistoric kind of pufferfish kind of creature. Kind of like the piranhas you see in the Piranhas movie. Ugh, nightmare fuel, those movies. But yeah, he goes in, starts questioning, what is this thing? Can I take a picture? And he immediately starts getting attacked and told off, I think in Spanish. Kartana and Tapu Lele 2 days apart is wild. You ever get 2 in 1 day before? Because I have. I think several times too. Alright, back to present day. Kentaro visits Kate in her room, offering her some water, where Kate basically just tells Kentaro her plan to go back to the island and get Lee back. And no matter what convincing goes Kate's way, she is determined to get Lee back. We also see the scene where May is speaking with Brenda about all this stuff, and Brenda pretty much offers May a job back with Apex. Oh yeah, I should also mention too that it now looks like both Monarch and Apex are working together. Which actually makes me wonder, was it Monarch that developed Project Powerhouse? Or was it Apex? You know, the name kind of gives it away. Apex Cybernetics. I feel like the name itself gives it away. But yeah, if Monarch and Apex are working together, was it really Monarch that was developing Project Apex? What? Project Powerhouse after Mechagodzilla? Or was it Apex Cybernetics? Well, I'm not gonna swap. You can swap if you'd like. Yes, you actually have Finny and Guzzlord. Nice. You'll wait? Alright. So yeah, after May leaves the room, Kate talks to Brenda and pretty much... What? Kate talks to May, not Brenda, and convinces her to help them escape. So pretty much they need to do like a Mission Impossible kind of style, sneak around the ship, grab life jackets, steal a lifeboat, sail back to the island, while May looks at the one and only monitor that was monitoring them and making sure Tim doesn't see. Should I do a Toxic first? I'm gonna do a Toxic first, just because Focus Blast, the accuracy is ass. So they successfully get what they need. There was also a scene where Hiroshi was, you know, just sitting by his mother's side while she was sedated to make her rest, because Keiko, while being down there for 50 years, but according to her, it was 2 months. You know, she's not used to the surface anymore, so she's a little bit woozy. So she was sedated to help her rest. During this scene, Kate also told Hiroshi her plan to go back and save Lee, but Hiroshi's like, no. But Kate is like, yes. And just like that, he's on board. So yeah, they get the lifeboat. May tags along too, amazingly with no one spotting them, and they sail back to the island. Oh wait, I don't need to use Toxic again. And you know, Skull Island may be a tiny island, grand scheme-wise, but this island is still pretty massive. So they make it on shore. They need to make it past the jungle in order to get back to the Monarch outpost. Aw, that's not good. And while of course they have a bunch of crazy creatures to avoid. There's this one bird creature with a giant beak that looks like it'll just stab you right through your head. And then another, even bigger bird comes in on the attack, attacking the smaller bird. And this thing is like an electric type, because it's able to shoot electricity out of its mouth. It's not exactly Ghidorah. So these guys are trying to stay silent, hiding behind trees and bushes, trying to avoid this thing. And in typical, like, tense show moment, this thing flies down right beside them, but conveniently doesn't see them. And then, as they're continuously walking towards where they need to go, they encounter a giant sleeping Kong. And they're just like, don't make any noise. I'm just like, are you serious? Unless you shout at the top of your lungs, I doubt any noise you make will wake this thing up. Typical. May steps on a stick, it snaps. And it's like, come on. That's not gonna wake up Kong. Are you kidding me? But then Kong kind of shuffles in his sleep. His hand is about to fall down and crush May. So Kate pushes her out the way. And how lucky. The hand falls right onto Kate where she is in the gaps of the fingers. So she's fine. And, you know, like I said, as the hand was coming down onto Kate, Hiroshi screams on the top of his lungs, which did not wake up Kong, so it's like, thank you for proving my point. Let's see, back in the 50s, 1957, our characters are still in the bar. Bill is determined to figure something out, because all these people here wanting us gone. There has to be a secret here. Something about a monster. So then a waitress comes up and wants to dance with Bill, even though he says he's already spoken for. But Keiko allows it. So while Keiko and Lee have a moment to talk, they reflect back on what Lee said. You know, it's like a family, kids, barbecue in the backyard. What happened to all that? Well, pretty much plans changed. Pelipper good? Yeah, it is. Drizzle. Very good. Unless the NPC swaps it out. Which, like, the loss of Drizzle would suck, but, well, at least we have a whole team that has super effective moves. So, well, let's just jump forward. The next scene, that is a flashback to the past. The waitress, or the lady working at the bar, remember, this is 1957 in a very dinky little wooden village, so it's not like a fancy bar that you're thinking of. It's more of like a saloon. Drizzle is too good. Pelipper is used basically for it. Remember when it was like the exclusive ability to Kyogre? So yeah, the lady, while dancing with Bill, just whispers into his ear, asking like, why are you here? I know why you're here. You know why everyone here is so tensed up with you guys here? It's because these guys here see this thing as their god. They worship this thing. And you really need to leave, because these guys, they will harm you if you disrespect their god. So the lady is just warning Bill and the others to pretty much get the hell out of here. And this whole time, Lee was advocating, yeah, let's get out of here. Oh, and speaking of Lee, remember how Lee was left in Hollow Earth? Well, he really doesn't do much in this episode. The senior Lee, at least. He just walks around Hollow Earth. And that's pretty much it. We see him get back up. We see him walk. And that's pretty much it. So let's see, in present day, they make it back to the Monarch outpost. But all the equipment is damaged, so they need to split because Kentaro needs to power back up the backup generators, which are like underground. But it's dangerous because this island is full of creatures. So it's best that Kentaro goes with a partner. And speaking of Monarch, on the battleship of theirs, Keiko was just standing around because she woke up, and Tim actually goes to comfort her, you know, addressing her as Dr. Randa, and Keiko just says, I spent my whole life trying to be called Doctor. Because remember, in the 50s, a Japanese woman with the title Doctor, yeah, no respect coming her way. So Tim basically comforts her and basically says, like, all of this started with you, and now that you're back, maybe you are exactly what Monarch needs. Maybe you can help restore Monarch back to what it should have been, what it originally should have been. Well, this Monarch worker basically tells Verdugo that, hey, we can't find the other Dr. Randa, and a lifeboat is gone, as well as literally all these other people. It's like, oh no, we gotta go to the island and warn them. Verdugo says we can't, and this is why. Shows them the footage of Kong attacking them. And amazingly, not a single person noticed this in the footage until Keiko watched it. Literally an entire ship full of staff members who watched the tape, not a single one noticed it. Keiko immediately knows, hey, what's that? Rewind a bit? Zoom and enhance? There's a creature running along the people who are running for their life when Kong was attacking. Some sort of creature was among us. You think that's why Kong was attacking? Kong was just trying to, like, shoo off these other things that were attacking at the time. Not attacking the people. Because even they acknowledge, Kong, the outpost has been there for who knows how long. And Kong always just sat back and watched. So Kong was always friendly. But then suddenly started attacking one night? Oops, I didn't even set a code. So now they really have to get back onto the island and warn them. Because there's something else on the island. And sure enough, when Kentaro and Mei are down there booting up the generator, yeah, this creature is just stalking around. Looks like a scene out of Jurassic Park. You know, the kitchen scene. This thing kind of looked like a Ragnar from Invincible. Anyways, so they're trying to avoid death. So Kentaro throws a flashlight to distract this thing. And then a really weird cut happens here. Kentaro and Mei run away together. But then we immediately cut to Mei running away by herself. And then Kentaro, he drives in with a forklift, ramming into the creature, killing it. It's like, wait a second, what? How did Kentaro run fast enough to hop onto the forklift? Hello. Yeah, you're free to join. The more help, the better. Yeah, how did Kentaro hop onto a forklift? And even if he floored it, a forklift doesn't really move that fast. You know, it doesn't really go at ramming speed. You'll join back in a bit? Alright, so Bean looks like it's just you and I for now. Anyways, so that stupidity aside, the power's back on. And yes, my voice did just crack. All of these suck. One doesn't suck anymore. When you get home? Alright. So, Kate asked the same question that Kentaro asked. Why'd you do it? So Hiroshi pretty much explains to Kate why the man has 2 families. I think we should go to grass. Oh, that's not grass. Bug. Wait, hold on second thought. No, you know what? That's fine. Because going to bug, we can swap out for ground. So yeah, let's go this path. Hiroshi pretty much explains why he has 2 families. We know that Kate is older than Hiroshi, so Kate's mother came first. Hiroshi pretty much explains it's because back then, Monarch was still more of a mystery. It was more of a secret. So he couldn't tell Kate's mother what he really does. But when, in 1982, when Lee showed back up after 20 years, Hiroshi was working at a Monarch hospital. And that's where we see Emiko. She actually was a part of Monarch. She knew everything, and they just naturally connected. You know, of course, Kate still feels betrayed by this, so she's just like, how could you love 2 people at the same time? And Hiroshi just says, well, it's not something you choose. It's pretty much just something that happens. You know how Rex had 3 kids with 3 ladies? Yeah. Okay, well, they are getting ready to open the portal. Press a couple of, press a couple of buttons on a computer. Literally a laptop just sitting there. And they're gonna open up a portal. But Hiroshi, he's kind of hesitating. Why? Because when they opened the rift to get Kate back, that was under optimal conditions. But now, the Monarch outpost is pretty much destroyed. This is not optimal conditions. And that hesitation also gave Monarch enough time, because Verdugo, Tim, Keiko, they're showing back up in helicopters. While they were flying back, Keiko looks down and sees, ooh, big scary thunderclouds. At first I thought she was seeing something, seeing perhaps the main protagonist of the season, antagonist of the season, but no. End of the episode reveals that's not the case. So anyways, Verdugo comes and is shouting like, we only have like 10 minutes to get out of here, because that storm cloud concealing the island, it's about to get too thick for us to leave. So we have like 10 minutes. We gotta go now. But Kate, she refuses. She very, yeah, she just is determined to hit the key on the keyboard, open a rift, and get Lee back. You know, speaking of Lee, down there, we do see him, I'm gonna take this just to get rid of my dual weakness against fire. It's not exactly great against ground. If anything, me keeping ice would have been better, but, you know, a small price to pay for salvation. Oh, I thought that was that's a Rhydon, isn't it? I thought that was a Nidoking. Yeah, speaking of Lee, so, like I said, he's just wandering down there. And he encounters the same grass-type boar that was about to attack Kate. It even still has an arrow sticking out of its head that Keiko shot. And speaking of Lee again, in the flashback, our characters are getting warned really hard by this worker to escape, to leave this place. Ooh, sweet, frozen. But if they're so frantic to be kicked out, then that means they're hiding something. So the lady, she's just like, alright, if I show you guys, will you leave? Okay, then let's go. Leads them to like this underground cavern where we see almost like hieroglyphs on the walls depicting the main antagonist of the season. This big monster, this titan that the people of this village worship as a god. You know, every once in like a century or whatever, this thing will show up, bless the folks, bring good harvest to the water, yada yada yada. So now we kind of know what we're dealing with. This like almost cephalopod titan. So yeah, back in present day when Kate opens up the rift, the pod gets sent back down, and as Lee was about to be attacked by the boar, he notices the rift opens back up and the pod just gets spat out. So Lee runs towards it. But upon opening the rift, and my voice did crack again, upon opening the rift, not only was Lee given a ticket out of there, but we see something in the background. A big pile of rocks, a mountain of rocks, begin to crumble. We also see these smaller creatures crawl towards this crumbling rock and occasionally attack Lee on the way. But Lee, he gets into his pod, it starts flying up into the rift. But that's not the only thing that made it through the rift. The crumbling rocks were concealing the Titan that we were learning about in the 1957's flashback. And I already know this season will come to call this thing Titan X. It's not the same as Monster Zero that Ghidorah was known as. No, this thing is known as Titan X, which is going to be the main antagonist of this season. So, opening the rift again, Titan X gets unleashed, goes through the rift, and makes it to the surface. So Lee also goes back to the surface. Upon opening the rift on the surface, Kong gets woken up. So Lee gets shot back up to the surface, and wow, how lucky for him, no time has passed now. You know? He didn't lose 20 years like he did before. He didn't lose 2 years like Kate and the rest did. No, it seems like he maybe was stuck down there for like 10 minutes, and then he came back up. So Kong shows up after this creature, Titan X, has escaped. So Titan X, obviously this thing is a giant monster, so it flails its tentacles around, and Verdugo gets smoked. This thing flailing its arms around, Verdugo gets snatched up, and she's gone. Verdugo just dies on the spot. Damn, I was kind of hoping to see more of her, you know? Because it really seems like some of the side characters from Season 1 are getting more of the spotlight in Season 2. Characters like Hiroshi, Brenda, Verdugo, or so I thought, but she gets killed off right away in Season 2. So yeah, Verdugo just gets got right away. So Titan X escapes, Kong shows up just to smash the device, closing the rift. And then Kong runs off. Well, all our characters, they get back onto the helicopters with Lee, and they fly off. But in the helicopter, they see Titan X escaping into the water. Kong tries to chase, but then Kong can only go so far into the water. So Kong roars with rage and even turns back to look at the helicopters as if saying like, do you know what you've just done? Do you know what you've just unleashed? So, there's the setup for Season 2. Titan X is going to be on the attack. And we know from the Season 2 trailer, they're going to need both Godzilla and Kong to take down Titan X. Pretty strong start to the season. Pretty strong start. I am weak to Steel-type moves, but I don't think I will get one shot. Maybe a Quick Claw? Since I think Rhydon's pretty slow. I don't necessarily want to do Life Orb. Okay, let's talk about the final thing for tonight. That being Ted. Episode 3. So this is a This is a porn-focused episode. So we begin the episode with Blair picking up John and Ted because they had just watched Jurassic Park. John just goes claiming it's one of the best movies he ever saw. He even thinks, they both think Steven Spielberg actually got real dinosaurs for this film. It's like, no way, he made Jaws, he made something else I forgot they mentioned, and as a reward, he was able to play around with real dinosaurs for the movie. Oh, if only that was the case. Well, as Blair is driving them home, John wants to stop by the video store to rent another movie. But didn't he just watch a movie? Well, yeah, he's on the dinosaur high, so he wants to find another movie with dinosaurs to watch. So they're at the video store, and, you know, back in the 90s, you had these rental movie stores. There was also an adult section, an 18+ section. So John just daydreams about what it's like to rent a porno. He just imagines, damn, the adult-only section. I can only imagine what kind of fancy area that is. And then we just get this funny dream sequence where John just imagines what it's like in there. You know, it's like an exclusive club. You come in with your tuxedos and top hats, you sit down, and a waiter comes and it's like, ah, Master John, Master Ted, what kind of pornography would you like to indulge in today? Indubitably, sir. Fantastic choice. I shall be back with your with your lube and your chief. Your kerchief, whatever, the short form of handkerchief. But obviously because Ted is because John is 16 and Ted is like 8, they're not allowed in there. So Blair comes in because she's in a hurry, so John just begs Blair to rent them an adult movie. And she agrees, just to not waste time. So they go back, they're ready to enjoy the very adult content they're about to watch. What was the name of the film? It was like 400 Heads? I don't know. It was a black and white film. But then as they're watching, they're just like, yo, where's the sex? It turns out she didn't rent them a porno. She just rented her an adult movie. A movie for adults. So, they are determined. They are determined to get their hands on a porno. But first, they need fake IDs. Also, during dinner, Susan announces to the family that, hey, me and Maddie, we're going to be going out for a romantic dinner. Just the two of us, tomorrow night. Ooh, Claydol has no ground moves, I don't think. If we go this path, we get fighting and ground. I think maybe we go... Oh, never mind. Well, it doesn't matter. We get 2 options either path. So yeah, Susan and Maddie are going for a date night the following night, and John just thinks this is a perfect opportunity. Hey, our parents are going to be out. This is a perfect time to really enjoy some good pornography. But first, in order to get into the 18+ section, we need fake IDs. So they go to this kid in the high school, and they pay $50 to get the fake IDs. While in the room, Ted just points out, hey, that VCR player back there is the exact same one we have at home. You would think it's a throwaway line, but 3 episodes in, and I've learned throwaway lines, they actually come back later in the episode. So anyways, yeah, fake IDs. John gets someone who looks really old, and Ted, his fake ID is just Bob Ross? Like, Ted's fake ID is literally just Bob Ross. I'm not kidding, an actual picture of Bob Ross. You would think, who would fall for this, right? A talking teddy bear with the fake ID of Bob Ross? Who would fall for this? The legend himself. You're not wrong. Because when they go to the video store, also their plan, here's their plan. Because the original guy working at the video store will recognize them if they try to hand him fake IDs. But someone else comes in and takes over the shift at like, what, 6 p.m. or whatnot? So that's the plan. They wait for the other guy to take over the shift before they go and show their fake IDs. So they go into the video store, but the dude hasn't changed shifts yet. So they just stand around and just pretend like they're just shopping around, like, ooh, what a very nice non-sexual film. Yes, yes, I heard that this is a very non-sex-oriented movie. Very family-friendly. Just go back and forth. And I don't know what it is with John and diarrhea, because this is not even the first time he's mentioned diarrhea. He mentioned something like, oh yes, this film about a mother and her diarrhea, and then Ted is just like, what? Remember episode 1, he also mentioned diarrhea. I don't know what this guy's deal with diarrhea is. So anyways, the dude, the dude tags out, the new guy starts his shift, and they show their fake IDs to him. The dude actually looks at Ted's IDs and is like, oh my god, Bob Ross! I can't believe it's really you! So, is there something in the water in this universe? Whatever. This ain't exactly a great choice for any of us. I think I'll just hold off for now. So, they go in, and John just comes out with a whole mountain of VHS tapes. He's gonna enjoy his evening for real, for real. And very explicitly, the guy says there is an $80 fee if any of the tapes are found missing, damaged, whatnot. $80? That's a lot. Well, this is a lot of porn right here. Oh, wait till you hear the end of the episode. So, what's going on with Maddie and Susan's date? Well, they go to the seafood restaurant. It almost looks like a Red Lobster, if Red Lobster was fancy. And oh my god, Maddie is disgraceful, if I say. Because he is, oh man. You know how the internet says you gotta give more respect to service people, like people who serve, waiters and whatnot, because of people who act like this in public? Yeah, Maddie is one of them. Because Maddie, you know, the waiter's just trying to do his job. First, the waiter is just like, how are we tonight? My sock is bothering me. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that, sir. Can I take your order? Maddie just goes on and is like, hey, why is the steak here $24 when I can get the same steak over at that restaurant for $8? You're trying to upcharge me all that money. $16 for heat. Then the dude's just like, well, you can order the steak on the kids menu for $9. I like this waiter. He knows exactly what to say. I'm gonna do that. Alright, the kid meals comes with the option of a coloring book or a fancy looped straw. Both. Get me both, Kevo. The waiter also introduces himself as Kevin. But then he's just like, oh, Kevo, before you leave, here, take this sock of mine and throw it away. Like, what? Alright, back at home, John is about to indulge in some fine, exquisite pornography. And they can't decide what to do. You know, John and Ted are about to indulge in this content for the first time in their lives. And they're kind of thinking, well, how are we going to do this? Are we both going to watch it together, or should we take turns? Oh, if we watch it together, that's kind of creepy. If we watch it separately, that's kind of lonely. John, the options are creepy or lonely. There is no other choice. So John finally decides what to watch. And he puts in the VHS tape that is labeled Genital Hospital. So they begin to watch, and oh, the innocent mind of a 16-year-old. Because he's watching and he's just like, hey, look, oh, I didn't know thermostats come like that. I don't think that's how you use a thermostat, because first of all, normally you put it in the mouth. And second, he's just shoving it in and out. He's never gonna get a proper temperature like that. But then, typical VHS fashion, they freeze up. Does anyone here even remember VHSs? Or is it just me? So yeah, the VHS freezes up. So he tries to rewind and whatnot, but no. Oh no, the VHS tape is stuck in there. Oh my god, what are we gonna do? This is like an $80 fee if it goes up damaged or missing. And we can't leave the VHS in there. Someone will find out. So Ted has this idea. Hey, the school has the exact same VHS player there. All we gotta do is go to school, grab it, replace it, and then we can worry about getting the tape out later. Alright, but going to school at night, how's that gonna work? Wouldn't the school be closed? No, there's a basketball game going on, so we are able to go in. The school's still open. We just disguise ourselves as basketball players and we'll be able to walk right in. So they literally do that. They walk... They dress up in basketball jerseys. They walk into the school. Stoutland, or what is that? That's a Greedent. Well, no good choice here. I don't feel like gambling with this scientist. So yeah, they walk into the classroom, they steal the VHS player. But then the coach from the gym comes out with some basketball players and it just shouts like, Bennett! Because Ted is in the hallway wearing a basketball jersey. Bennett, we are one player short. Get into the gym. Start playing basketball. Coach, I'm not actually a player. No. Like, get to the floor and start playing. Hey, we're not disqualified. We still have players. Ted actually joins in the basketball game and he walks back out with the trophy. He walks back out with the trophy and he just like, that wasn't that hard. What's so hot about that? And then he just tosses the trophy into the garbage as they leave. I don't know about you, but I would love to see Ted dunk a basketball. So back at the dinner date with Maddie and Susan. So Maddie is doing the crossword puzzle, but he can't find a certain word. So he yells at the waiter, like, this word's just not here. The poor waiter's just like, you're allowed to go diagonal on a crossword. Well, then this should have been specific with that on the instructions. I'll let the chef know. So Maddie, yeah, he's kind of a nuisance in the restaurant. So there's this back and forth with Susan wanting Maddie to try the crab. Because Susan ordered the crab, but Maddie ordered the kids' menu steak. So she's just like, try the steak, dear. I don't want to try the crab. I think you'll like it. If I wanted the crab, I would have ordered the goddamn crab. I think you'll like it though. Fine, I'll try the goddamn crab. Takes a bite. Oh my god, it's so much better than what I ordered. He also hands Susan a gift, but it's not a gift. She unwraps what was supposedly a gift, and it is a bent, rusty nail. So Maddie's plan was to quote-unquote find the nail in her food, and because of this, the restaurant will cop their dinner. Which is like a crime, you know, you can't do that. But this was in the 90s, I suppose this was before it was well known that con artists would do that. So, yeah, first of all, he's just like, Kevo, there's an issue with this dish. But then a different waiter comes up because he says, Kevin quit. Damn, Maddie was so much of a nuisance of a customer that he made the waiter quit. So yeah, the manager, I'm assuming the manager of the restaurant did go like, I sincerely apologize. I don't know how that could have gotten into your meal there, ma'am. Of course, your bill tonight will be comped, and if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Maddie's just like, you know what, there is. You see that scuba diver helmet over there? I want you to fill it with shrimp. And literally they drive back home with a scuba diver helmet full of shrimp. Ah, this guy is deranged. So let's see, because Ted and John, they're not back yet with a replacement VHS. Maddie and Susan, they get back home. And Susan, remember, she is a woman of God. So she's just like, Maddie, what you did tonight was a sin. You lied. Oh, it's not that big a deal. They lied to me first with their outrageous price for a steak. Now we're even. And besides, I have this coupon for a free dinner, which I didn't have to use today. So that means we get 3 meals for the price of 1. Is that why you wanted to go out for a date tonight, dear? Because you had a coupon? Damn. Only reason this guy even went out with his wife was because he had a coupon that he didn't even plan to use yet. So he feels completely fulfilled of what he's just done, but but Susan, she's just like, I think I'll stay up and watch TV. Uh-oh. We know what's on the TV. She turns on the TV and yup, Genital Hospital starts playing. At first she's disgusted, but then she keeps on looking as if she's getting into it. But she actually doesn't think it's her teenage son's porn. She actually thinks it's Maddie's. She thinks it's her husband's porn. So because of this, she starts second-guessing herself. She starts questioning their marriage, like, oh my god, is he getting bored of me? Does he think our marriage isn't entertaining or interesting enough? Alright, so John and Ted, they make it back home. Yeah, and it's at this point they realize, you know, we could have just gone to school in our normal clothes. We didn't need to dress up in basketball jerseys. But whatever, they go back in, they replace the VHS. Alright, so the VHS at home doesn't have the tape anymore. But we still have the problem, we gotta get the VHS out. What do? Just like the way they smashed the laptop in the future. Yeah, they just grab hammers and they just smash the VHS player open to grab the tape out. As if doing that wouldn't have damaged it. But then they realize, oh no, the tape is gone. Oh my god, that means someone found it. So they go to bed thinking, alright, tomorrow we gotta search the entire house for that VHS tape. So yeah, tomorrow, the next day, while they're alone, they search the entire house. And Ted found it in Susan's underwear drawer. Because, yeah, that's exactly where we see Susan put the tape. But John realizes, oh my god, Mom found the tape. Mom knows I watched porn. I can never face her again. What is a logical solution for this? We have to run away. We can never be seen by our parents again. We have to run away. Move on from this house. And then they just go on and say a whole bunch of stuff. Like, a whole bunch of stuff that they're gonna say goodbye to. Goodbye wallpaper that is peeling away, revealing more wallpaper. Goodbye picture of Pope from 2 popes ago. Goodbye medicine cabinet with black mold growing in the corner. Like, they just keep on saying stuff about that. It's endless, too. And then when they finally finish, it's like, yeah, let's get out of here. This house kind of does suck. So they begin to run away because John thinks that his mom found his porn. Not Maddie. Susan, because she is a holy woman, she goes to church and confesses her sin. So she goes into a confession booth where she's just like, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Well, last night we went out to dinner, and after dinner, I turned on the TV and I watched a porn. And then the priest kind of just goes on like, well, that's why God made men and women to have different desires. Different interests, what yada yada. As long as in the porno film, it looks like it was a man and a woman, and they were having marital intercourse, then it's okay. Oh, but it wasn't just a man and a woman. There was another woman. Oh. Yeah, but she wasn't really participating. She was more so watching and periodically choking the other woman. It seemed like the priest was getting into it too. He wanted details. But then Susan is just like, I think we should continue this next time. Yes, of course. So, Susan has this idea that maybe Maddie, he wants a little bit of spice in their marriage. So, Maddie, while he's just sitting, watching TV, having a beer, by the way, neither of them are concerned where the sun is. Susan just comes up and is like, what are you watching? What are you watching, dear? I forget what movie he was watching. It was some sort of, like, Western movie. And because Maddie has no idea what Susan's talking about, she's just like, do you enjoy these kind of movies? Wait, no, she first asked, about the movie you watched last night. Oh, that one. I don't even remember it, you know? I watch so many movies, I don't even know what's what anymore. Do you enjoy movies like that? Well, you know, I just watch them. Which one's your favorite? And then he said something like, one with a chimp that uses his finger. Completely wrong context. And then Susan, trying to be a little sexy for her husband, just unbuttons her shirt to just show her bra, peels a banana, tries to seductively eat it. Maddie, he just doesn't even realize until he realizes, why is my wife still sitting next to me? Looks over, what are you doing? I just wanted a banana. I've been real naughty. It's like, damn it, Susan, was that the last banana? Oh! Now what am I supposed to snack on? Oh yeah, remember when I said that John and Ted, they were saying like goodbye to a lot of stuff? Ted said, goodbye lamp that shocks you every time you touch it. Well, yeah. That joke came back because when Maddie ran off to see if there's any more snacks, he's just like, and I just got shocked by the lamp again. So Susan goes down to the basement to talk to Blair, because that's where her room is. Tries to talk to her about, like, I found a porn on the TV. I think Maddie might be bored with our marriage. So, Blair, realizing that her dumbass cousin was kind of reckless with his porn, she takes the fall for it. She's just like, Aunt Suze, I gotta confess to you, that porn wasn't Maddie's, it was mine. My goodness, dear, why are you watching porn? Well, it's kind of like a sorority thing. You know how college is. So yeah, she takes the fall for her cousin. Well, Susan is now relieved that her marriage is fine. It's not her son who watches the porn, which amazingly, that thought didn't even cross her mind one bit. So, alright, everything's solved, but John and Ted still ran away. So, they're literally in the middle of the woods. They started a campfire. Ted is playing the harmonica. And they're thinking to themselves, what are we gonna do now, Teddy? So Blair shows up to explain everything. She took the fall for the porn because, well, if Aunt Susan found out that it was John's porn, she would probably just cry and freak out. So she took the blame for it. How did she even find them? She claims, well, a harmonica sound reaches, if you would believe. For a second, I thought she was going to say, you guys are in the backyard. But no, they actually went into some random forest. Random, I don't know, random woods in a park, I guess. Ew, neither of these options are great. Oh, actually, never mind, that's a gelatin. So, they gotta go back home. And then, I kid you not, the narrator comes on. The narrator comes on and says, oh, wait, first of all, John promises Blair, I promise, Blair, I will never watch porn again. Even if there is a device in my pocket that can conveniently pull up porn whenever I want, I will never watch porn again. So they're walking back home without putting out the fire in the woods. They're walking back home, and the narrator comes on and just says, John kept his promise to not watch pornography anymore for 2 years. And then once he discovered internet, he jerked off so much he nearly pulled his penis off, to the point he had to be brought to the emergency room. And while he was at the emergency room, there were several other men who almost did the same thing, almost pulled their penises off, because they too just discovered the internet. This is Ian McKellen signing off. It's like, what the hell? They got Ian McKellen to narrate the end of the episode. The end credits literally said, special guest star Ian McKellen. It's like, what the hell? They randomly just had Sir Ian McKellen narrate at the very end of the episode. But clearly we know John, he did not keep his promise. We know John will indulge in the, you know, the sinful act once again. Just as they can. They got Ian McKellen just cause they can. But yeah, remember how I said they smashed up the VHS like they will smash up the laptop in the future? Yeah. Guess why they smashed up the laptop? Just because of the thousands of files John had open. I mean, technically, can you blame the guy? He just got through a divorce. So, yeah. So, yeah, the TED show is absolute chaos. It's absolute madness. The jokes are continuous. They just keep going on. Seth MacFarlane has a sick mind. He has a talented mind, but a sick mind nonetheless. And we are all grateful for that sick mind of his. Anyways, this will probably be the last run I do for tonight. And you know, kudos to all the actors too. Like, you gotta remember, Ted is a CGI character. Like, in reality, they're acting with nothing there. I don't know if they have a placeholder teddy bear there just to know where to look. I don't even think they have earpieces that are feeding them the voice acting from Seth MacFarlane voicing Ted. They might, and then they might just edit it out in post. Because I really don't think they have, like, speakers blasting out the voice lines to tell them when to say their lines. But I gotta say, the acting, kudos to them, because they're acting alongside something that's not really there. And this isn't even a case of, like, having a tennis ball to look at. You know, because Ted is a teddy bear. He's small. He's short. I can't even say maybe they had a really small person in a green suit walk around, because unless you have, like, a 3-year-old walking around, there is no person that small. I wonder, how old is the actor? Because, remember what I said before, Seth MacFarlane said there's no current plans to continue the Ted franchise after Season 2. One of the reasons because the main actor is growing, he's still aging up. So how old is he? So let's see, Max Burkholder, he is... Oh, never mind, he's a lot older than I thought. Wow, he looks fantastic for his age. He is 28 years old. Wow. He looks amazing for his age. Then I don't know what the hell I was hearing about the actor aging. I never looked up his age beforehand, but now that I see this, like, what the hell are people saying? He's aging out of the role. Holy god, this guy's almost 30, and he looks fantastic! Wow, this dude is nearly 30, he doesn't look a day over 20. Huh, interesting. Oh my god, I see he's the exact same age as Georgia Wiggum. The girl who plays Blair, they're both 28 years old. But yet, he plays 16-year-old John, and she plays, I'm assuming at least like, maybe 19, because she's in college. Then again, you gotta keep in mind, this show came out like 2 years ago. And then they filmed at least a year prior. So they were around like maybe 25 when the show was filmed. Well, if anything, we did get one shiny tonight. We got a shiny Obstagoon. First phase of this. Nice. I can't believe they really randomly got Ian McKellen. I think it was Morgan Freeman who narrated the Ted movies. At least the NPCs know what moves to use. I think Jellison's only water move is dive? Oh, Trick Room. Well, I guess Jellison can move first now, for all that's worth. I just don't know what I'm saying anymore. Alright, last check for tonight. Hopefully, maybe. In a world of slow mons, I alone am the slowest fish. I guess Stunfisk is slower than I thought. Ah, no shinies. We got shiny Obstagoon tonight. That's better than nothing. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. How am I doing on Dynite Ore? Okay, I still have room. Alright, I'm gonna end this here for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time for more of this hunt. See you next time. Thanks for joining.